trading does not change your life changes your trading. It changed everything for me. It changed the way I look at trading completely. Stop looking at the numbers, look at percentages. You will never be successful with $1,000.
Welcome everybody. We're here today with Dovy, Owen, and Christian. We're talking about the prop industry, from the business perspective and from the trader's perspective. So what we're exploring here today is, I suppose, the trader's mindset. We're talking about community, which we believe is a very important part. And I suppose, how can we go from a strong community in the industry to then building a successful business and a successful prop firm that helps the business and that community both grow and both get the most out of that prop firm. So this conversation was a little bit too good, so we jumped straight into it before doing the intro. So you might see a little bit of a jump cut in them as we begin.
What were you saying?
So what do you guys think is that we're missing in the prop firm industry? What's your point of view? Because what I think is a lot of these companies, they sell a product. They don't sell, let's say, a community. They're like, oh, come to our space and we're going to sell you a challenge. Instead of, this is our community, this is how we roll, this is what we represent, and you can go on this road with us, correct? So I've seen a couple that does really, really well, and one thing that stood out for all of them, they all had a great community. So I feel like for the prop firms, it's really important to have this community for traders and for the prop firm itself to help them kind of grow and guide them to the right ways, So what do you guys think?
Well, I think the idea of community is probably older than time, and things get built with a lot of people, like villages and stuff like that, and towns and cities and stuff like that. It doesn't take one person, it takes everybody to come together. So I think community in this space as well is super important. That'll be, in my opinion, a key part, and it's probably the hardest thing to do if you don't have, what would you say, some type of attraction. Like you would have a natural attraction online. You have already products out there in the space that have community around them. So I think it is very, very important. I think the big question is, how do you start and how do you develop a community from day one, especially if you're going to offer something that's, let's say, new in the space, but you haven't got the community side of things. So I think, what's our opinion of how to start a community, how to develop it, how to, let's say, that sort of execution plan?
I think, to your point as well, the community side is really important, because right now, if you look at the industry across, everybody's competing on price. They're competing on making it easier, faster, cheaper. And they're doing that because there is no uniqueness in it. It is just a product. So it's like seeing things on Amazon, and I see that I'm looking for this product and I'm just finding the cheapest one because they're all the same. Where I think if you're building a community first, then you're actually then going to get people to buy in. At that point in time, people are sold on your vision. They know what you're trying to achieve. They know what you're trying to grow.
Exactly.
And by doing it that way, you're then bringing the whole industry to a more sustainable place. Because while this gets easier, while it gets cheaper, while it gets faster, it's not getting a good business balance. The traders need good conditions, but also the business needs to sustain.
Yeah,
to make profit.
I like your point where you said it's like you do community first, you bring community first instead of bringing the product first. So you place community first and then product. It's like you begin with community, with activities, with webinars, education, inviting people, giving them something back for sharing, and then this is what we represent. I personally, what I'm doing with Cove is we haven't launched yet, but we already have community. We already have people talking about it inside a group. We already have people sharing ideas. And it's not that we build product and give this to people. We build product by listening to what other traders have to say and build around that. So there's a benefit for the prop firm because it has to be profitable, but benefit for the traders as well.
How do you cut through the noise? So obviously, if you look at the industry, it's still in a
There's so many, right?
Yeah, it's not mature. Like it's not a mature industry. It's still in its, let's say, infancy at some point. How do you cut through the noise of, well, mine, even though, yeah, you have a great community, which I'm sure you do, but if mine's $10 cheaper and I have a good community, how do true, honest businesses with good products and a good community, what wins through, because people still shop on price in every industry. So what is that thing?
I think that's something that Christian and I have been looking a lot at recently, because at the end of the day, with FunderPro, we aren't the cheapest, we aren't the easiest. And that's totally fine, because I think the people that use our services, who are in our community and believing in what we're believing, it's just a totally different value proposition. You come to us, you're getting real funding, that the conditions that you're getting are the conditions that you should be getting. And so we're building our community and our vision around that. And then it gives us, as you say, it gives us the opportunity then to build the product, build the service, build the challenges that actually drive towards that vision. Yeah. And then drives towards bringing that more and more and more value. And I think, we're going to get to a point in time where people just can't match what we're doing, because our business proposition is totally different.
Yeah, we have had many conversations about it, because look, if you look at the industry right now, and there's a lot of prop firms out there, and everybody want to take a part of that business, right? And the first thing they look at it is that, okay, what is the target phase 1? What is the target phase 2? Let's just drop the target. Let's get people in. But what they should do is that they shouldn't look at the target for phase 1 and 2 like we have been talking about. They should look at the things in another way, like what can we give the traders so they are here in a year? Because it's easy to step in, but it's also easy to lose and get out again, right?
I agree.
So,
to answer your question, like, why would people not choose somebody else if they're $10 cheaper? To give you a metaphor to answer this with a metaphor is like, there is 2 villages, and one village has, let's say, better milk. You're not gonna leave your village because there's your whole family, your kids, your friends is over there, your community. You're not gonna go to another village just because they have better milk. So this is why it's so important to build a community. Is like, so you can be happy with someone, like, for example, when you pass the challenge, or like have some help when you have struggles with the challenges and with the trading. This is why I really emphasize the community. And I believe all the prop firms are now competing with challenges, targets, but at the end of the day, it's gonna come down to the community and to the people that's inside of it. And I will give you a quick example. I've been looking around a lot of industries, and in today's world, we have a lot of influencers that build businesses around their community. For example, for some people, some viewers may know Nelk Boys. They're big YouTubers in United States. They first built community and their channel, and now they launched business. They selling beer or whatever. But it is so strong and it's so powerful just because they had this community that was following them. And no matter what they sold, actually, they would still buy just because they like those people and this community. So this is super important.
But it's because many people, they want a shortcut, right? So they prefer just to launch a business, get the money. But in a couple of years, they will probably lose the business anyway, because the people who will win will be the people that took the time to create this community and say, hey, we are in it for how can I help you as a trader to become a better trader, to pass more challenges. I mean, many people can pass a challenge, but very few people can continue being in the game, and they need the community. So I think we will see that, okay, there will be many people coming in, many companies will leave, or prop firms will leave, but it will be the few with good communities that can help the traders long term that will stay, right?
Yeah.
And I think what's important to also remember is when you're building something for a community, that is just for that small pocket of people. And that's totally okay, because at the end of the day, there doesn't need to be something from one prop firm that solves everything for the whole industry, because a lot of people want totally different things. People trade in different ways. They've got different strategies. They've got different ideologies and mentalities. So, if you're building a prop firm and you have your core unique thing that's for your audience, you only need that, small amount of people, and you're doing it so well for them that they'll be so loyal, they'll be so into it that, they won't have to go anywhere else, and they'll tell their friends about it. And if their friends think the same way as they do, they'll use this prop firm. If they don't think the same way as you do, if they think the same way as, a different prop firm and they're aligned with that, they'll go with that one. And that's totally okay. We can all have an area in the industry. You'll do really well in yours, I'll do really well, and the next prop firm will do really well as well if we just focus on who we're trying to serve,
exactly
what they need, and fulfilling that need.
Exactly, 100%. It's like today's world with internet and such a huge reach. We live not in or world, we live in and world. Mm-hmm. You don't have this or this, you have this and this. So you have an option. So I really think that if there is really legit good prop firms in the industry, everyone will find the right fit for everyone.
Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be people watching this that are going to be sort of sitting with two hats. First of all, people who want to, let's say, do a challenge, join a prop, try to understand, what you're doing at Cove, what you're doing at FunderPro. Then there's going to be people who are, I might set up a prop myself. So just sitting here right now, we got two different approaches. We've got the approach where it's let's say personality driven, individual driven, you expressing your opinions, your feelings, you're active obviously in the trading community. And then there's your approach, which is you're not active in the trading community, but you have a message, you have a point of view, both of them aligned with transparency and obviously making the best for the trader. So let's just speak about the different strategies to, building up that community a little bit so that it's understood.
Because it's really easy to sit for us and say that, hey, we need a community. Everybody need a community.
Yeah, but there's two examples.
Two examples. And I've seen even right now, like we have right now really good community-based funding firms and really good not community-based funding firms. Mm-hmm. So some people go to more organic reach where they use influencers and other people to get to those clients, and some people use ads, paid ads, and stuff like that to get that reach. So there's plenty of opportunity to build a prop firm, either if you have audience or not, but you will have different approach. Mine, since you asked this question, is like I have a community, and I am building a brand that represents me. So everything that you see on that brand, it represents me. I will have transparency. I will have everything in order, and there's going to be very close community. I will be helping personally and with the team around it, everyone to be successful, everyone to be happy in that prop firm. So this is my goal, and this is how I'm going to approach this.
Yeah. Look, I think our approach at FunderPro is, we're looking at the industry and we see that in certain cases, like what you said, there's a lack of transparency, there's a lack of fairness. And really our approach is saying, okay, we want to do it differently. We want to bring it back and say to ourselves, what is a prop firm? What are we actually telling our customers and our traders that they're getting? And then to its truest form, giving them that. So, we fund people. It's just it's a statement, but it's like, okay, how do we do that? First of all, we do it with real funding. Then from there, because we know that we're doing that, we know that we're aligned with the interests of the traders. Now, our incentive is find the best execution we can possible. Because if we can execute trades better, if we can get tighter spreads, if we can get better commissions, now that makes the better trading condition for the trader who's trading on our behalf. And then we take it further. Then we say, okay, payouts. How can I incentivize my payouts to be, more aligned with the trader?
Yeah.
Daily payouts. Perfect.
Yeah.
What are the best conditions that I can give them?
I need to go grocery shopping. Boom, payout.
Yeah.
But it should be that easy.
Yeah, it should be. It
that
actually,
easy.
Hopefully there's going to be time where it's just like, oh, I need to, I need to go grocery shopping. Boom, you get a payout. It's in your bank account. It would be amazing, no?
The question we should ask is that why are so few companies not offering daily payouts? Right? Think about it. because we do it at FunderPro, and it should be like that.
Yeah.
And we don't need to answer maybe the question, but it's just interesting because if everybody want to do good for the trader, I mean, we place a trade, we win, we want to have the money out so we can spend it, right?
Yeah, I don't know the answer, but I would suggest that people who get into business, they tend to run their businesses like businesses. And this isn't a typical, paint by numbers business. So you can't run it that way. And I think that's probably something, or people need to shift to a more fast-paced, more modern business model in terms of how they do the payouts, how they react, how they respond. I would say there's a little bit of that, but
I'm a funder trader. I've been trading for 7 years. You're a trader as well. What's your perspective on funding firms from a trader's perspective? Because now we're talking from funding firm perspective. What do you see for like prop firms? What would you like to see?
Look, that's the reason why I started working with FunderPro, and I approached you a couple of months ago. It was because I used to trade with my Forex fund, and then one morning you wake up and you just got this info and you read it online that all your accounts are gone. And I was like, hey, now I have spent years trying to get my mind in the right place, try to pass those challenges. I passed them, I lost them, I passed them. And then one Monday morning, everything is just gone. And you know what? It is really, fucked up from a trader's point of view, because you depend on it. I mean, you really want to have that income to build and scale and do businesses. So, and at this moment, I approached Gary and I said, look, and I opened Google and I typed in prop firms, and I saw a long list of so many prop firms worldwide. And I was just, if this here is gonna go down now, who will be the last company to survive, right? And I was like, FunderPro, payout in the real life market, then the real life market. And I said, this company will be one of the few companies standing after a couple of years if the industry is gonna be cleaned. So I approached Gary and I said, look, hire me, let me get in, because let's clean up this industry and make it better for traders, because there's thousands of traders out there who depend on their 100, 200 or 300K account, and it's working, and it will work in a year and 2 years from now.
Exactly, yeah.
So for me, how I see it, I mean, I like when things, let's clean the table and let the good ones be back, and let's create a product and an industry where people can,
But how do you clean the table?
How to clean the table? I don't think I need to clean the table, because I think the users will.
Time is going to do it.
Yeah, the users will clean the table.
Yeah.
I think from our approach, so obviously, we're working together because, from a perspective, we are a prop firm, but we also provide the technology for other prop firms, which we're going to be collaborating with you. And I think the main thing that we're approaching it with is we believe that if we, as a technology provider, can also emphasize the need to look after the trader first. So if a trader deserves to get paid out, they get paid out. If a trader deserves to get funded, they get funded.
Yeah.
It literally goes down to the point where that's in our terms and conditions. We don't work with people who don't want to do that.
Yeah, and we also follow up. Like if we see something, we will reach out and be like, listen, this is the way that should go. This is the way this should go. Let's do this. Let's do that.
Yeah.
Exactly. This is what I'm talking about. It's the funding company being close to the customer. Because like if I'm a customer, I'm speaking from a trader's perspective. I'm a customer and I have a live account with some prop firm and I have a problem with something. I don't want to chat to some chat bot for forever to have some type of response that is like going around just to kind of I'm not feeling stable. But when you get a good answer, a good solution, this is where the prop firm really stands out to me as a trader, for example. It's like, hey, I have this problem. What can I do about this? And they're like, here, you can do this, this, this. Oh, I've seen you've been trading with us for a while. We can help you with this, this, this. It's just like communication as well is super important between traders and the firm. You cannot be like talking to some bot or whatever for forever. I'm not saying like there are some prop firms that you start with the bot because there's some simple questions, but then you get to the live agent and you like get a nice solution with So I think that's super important.
Yeah, and I think the next extension of that is you're building such a strong community and you're using things like Discord. where to a certain point, many of the questions have been answered, and it's almost the experience of the other traders that are in that prop firm. That's what's important. So it's not, okay, look, there's always going to be, hey, my password, those kind of things that you're going to have to talk to a support agent. But the best type of support is support from your community. It's support from your peers.
100%.
And that's where, the real value of that prop firm with the community is, where people are helping people. You know?
Yeah, I agree.
So how will you grow this? Let's say you're starting out, you have 100 people. You find 100 people online, you post some YouTube videos, you build a community. How will you grow it? How will you bring value? Let's say if there's 50 other people like you are doing the same.
I will share as many things as possible.
Your knowledge, you will share.
I will share my knowledge. I will share interviews, payouts, just being completely transparent. Of course, if other person agrees to share their payout or whatever, but just like you come into this community and you're like, it's like open arms. You see every transaction, you see everything that's going on, you see interviews, people talking about this, you see the reviews and everything that you need to see. It's just like, it's not like, sometimes you go into some prop firm, for example, community discords, and it's like, seems a little bit sketchy, or like you go to their Instagram, they're live for a couple of weeks and, we paid out $500,000 in payouts. It's just like, you see some sketchy stuff.
And next year it's gone.
What?
And next year it's gone.
And next year it's gone,
Yeah.
But that hurts the funding firm industry,
Absolutely.
But this is how it happens in the world with a lot of industries. First, there's a lot of like random ones, but with the time, they all clear out. People get smarter. People get more aware of what is working and what is not, and what is real and what is not. And then it kind of filters out.
Yeah, I think just because, like, obviously listening to you and being around with you the last number of months, I've noted a lot of transparency in a lot of what you say, just about business and not about business, about life and stuff like that. I think one thing that you said there, just about payouts and these sort of 500,000 payouts, 2 weeks after going live, it clearly is bullshit. But I think it makes a lot of sense for people like us who are, saying transparency, to explain, if a payout isn't happening within the first month or 2 months, let's explain why. It's obvious why. It's because it takes time, different criteria. It takes a certain period of time to have your first trader live, to get their first payout. That just needs to be said a lot more. And people need to realize that it's not an overnight, go live, one trader, 2 traders, 10 traders. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It takes time. I think it was 2 months, 2 months.
We were pulling our hair out.
Just waiting for a trader.
For that first
Actually,
trade.
as we're like about to launch, I'm like already can't wait for the first payout. Just to interview that person. It's like me as an owner or co-founder of the co-funded, it's just like, I feel like I'm doing good, It's just like kind of giving back.
Yeah, but what happens, because it could happen, is like it could take a month, it could take 60 days. It could be 3 months.
Exactly.
You don't know yet because you've not started.
Exactly.
So it's very important in your community to, like, it's probably something that we didn't think about to speak about earlier, but it was only then, we had people saying, why isn't there no payouts? It's a scam. But it's not that. It's the case of that people have to come into it, do the challenge, pass, get funded in order for a payout to happen. And even when they're funded, we had people who unfortunately went to the drawdown, and that was it. It was a loss. So there was no payout, even though there was a funded person.
Yes.
So that we can just retrospect that account, and we can have an interview about that account, and people will get on board with that. But definitely, because you're going to be doing yours very, very soon, I would definitely hit that, out of the gate with your community.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think more people should do that in the space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If only we knew.
Yeah. But we didn't.
No, it was killing me. It was killing me because every day it was just, this person's funded. They're in profit. No, drawdown. Shit.
Yeah.
It happened to me as well. My first account, man. I remember I got 50K, and it was like, wow, now everything's gonna be good from now on. I mean, this account never went into plus.
Exactly.
The moment I got funded, I was like, it just went down like this. And at this moment, I understood, this here has nothing to do, trading has nothing to do with trading. I mean, looking at charts, of course you need to have a strategy, but what it's all about, it's our mindset. And here we can, we can talk with our community, right?
It's like I said, it's like community, transparency, communication, with everyone, with all the traders. It's super important to have a successful, not business, not community, but everything in general, It's like me as a owner and you as a client. And these are the points you need to have.
Yeah, I think that is a really important point, and I think to your point of the industry cleaning itself up, I think that's going to get to a point where, as people are getting, as we were saying, cheaper, easier, faster, it's great for getting people in the door, getting customers, but it's these are people that. There needs to be an understanding from a trader's perspective that the business still needs to maintain and operate. It still needs to run.
Yeah.
And so there needs to be a good balance between the two. And I think we're going to see a certain point where the industry settles to a point where it now is fair conditions for the traders and clear, fair conditions for the businesses too, so that it can maintain.
I have an idea. What if there's a database? There's brokers, regulated, not regulated. Do the same thing for prop firms. So the prop firms gets regulated only when their payouts are confirmed, and if they agree, for example, for this database to track their everything, and it's you can have a website of this prop firm is regulated, so you can trust it. It's paying out, it's working, and this prop firm is not regulated. It's not, for example, paying out. Would that be possible or no?
Not maybe the word regulation, because obviously that's
not the word, but
but a framework that says it's validated by a third party. That's it's not like the Dolphin Free Tuna Association,
100%.
where you pay for the validation. It has to be not like that.
No. Yeah.
I think it's a good idea. I know that we've spoke to a lot of service providers, especially in the liquidity side of things, to figure out how to make a true source instead of a potentially skewed source, because obviously there's always temptation. So a third party, that is very hard to mess with.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I think also the point to that is, okay, the first step is confirming that payouts are real payouts, but the next thing is, okay, is that the correct value that payout should have been? Should that person have made 8K instead of 4, were the trades executed correctly in the best conditions that they could have been for that trader to achieve what they should have achieved? Because I think, and that's harder, and that's where I suppose, again, we've been talking to people like, institutional liquidity providers to try and find a point where there is this clear transparency. You're not only seeing at a payout level, but at a trade level. You're making sure that the execution on that account, on that broker, is the way that it should have been on the real market at that point in time. So I think it's going to take time to get to that stage of clear transparency, but I think that's obviously then when it really.
One thing about your idea, it probably is suitable post the cleaning of the table situation, because when you have, let's say, a seal of approval. And I, this isn't my opinion, but let's say that it's heavyweight, firms that maybe aren't doing the best by the trader. Those people will never buy into that, and if that's the majority, then your seal of approval never gets validated, because the minority is always with the validation. Do you know what I'm saying? So that could be. It has to build up so that becomes. The majority want that seal of approval,
Yeah, but those minorities can have this a step up. It's by saying to people, and it's easier for them to grow by saying we are validated. We are if the big ones doesn't want to do it, it's fine. It's a good opportunity for the small ones to be oh, we are validated. This is you can actually trust us, because now big ones are just taking over, and the small ones, they're having trouble. Just because it's already some prop firms that really are standing strong in the industry,
Yeah, one completely separate question I want to ask, since we have two traders in the space here. Over the last couple of months, a lot of people have been, promoting take a challenge because you have access to a larger pool of capital, and you can scale better and stuff like that. But then there's this sort of joint approach where you have your own account, your own, with your own funds, and you have potentially a funded account. What does that do for like a trader's mindset? Because your account might be, let's say, 2,000 or 3,000, your personal one that you funded, and then maybe your funded account could be 100 grand. Like, what happens to your train of thought when you're like trading on either one?
Can I say?
Yeah.
Which one is my camera? You will never be successful with $1,000. Like, you can make some amount of money, but you're not gonna have a life living. You will not make living from this $1,000 account, because realistically, you can only make like 1 to maybe 6% a month, right? And from $1,000 account, it's not the way to go, right? So you really need that big capital. And for me, as a trader who went from small personal capital to funded accounts, it was a big jump in the numbers. You open your MT4 and you see not tens, not hundreds, but you see thousands in drawdown, thousands in profits. And really, at the beginning, it messed with my mind. So a tip for all these trying to get funded traders: stop looking at the numbers, look at percentages, right? So I stopped looking at $1,000, $2,000. I said 1%, 2%. And this really got a lot of stress and FOMO from my head and from my trading, because I started looking at percentages. Oh, I'm up not 4,000 or not 8,000, I'm up 4%, right? So this is my biggest advice when you make that step from the personal account to the funded account.
Yeah, and I also think that they should. I mean, I was on a demo, I was on a private account, and then I went into the prop industry. And I think that they should go straight into the prop industry, because to succeed in trading, it's about a mindset. You will very fast get into a community, you will get a strategy, and you think this is what you will trade. But you will realize it's not about the strategy. It's about how you think and how you see the market every day, and if you can manage your mind when you're on drawdown. And what happens if you're sitting on a small account is that with your $1,000, it's not enough. You see something on YouTube, you want to have more money, so you will risk more. And when you risk more, suddenly you will risk 5, 10, 15% on a trade. And here you're already, I mean, from here it's just going down, right?
Exactly.
So it's better just to spend those $500,000. Let's get a 100 or 200K account, and let's get our risk management in place from the start. Because again, it's not about the numbers, but what you really are training, it is that you're training your habits to be able to control the bigger capital later on. So that's how it's.
Yeah, I think the one key thing to point out, so obviously we're talking about the benefits here of the additional capital. One of the main things then to point out is you're dealing with a different beast. You know, you've gone from your $1,000 account to a $200,000 account. You know, people often, you know, you look in all the communities, you look in the forums, you see the messages that come through. It's, oh, I've been slipped. The reality of the situation in a lot of cases is people are now dealing with huge capital. And if you're putting on big lot sizes, even if it's, you know, 5% of your account, it's still a very considerable trade. And actually there is just natural slippage in the market at that rate, which I think is a big consideration that a lot of people overlook when they're coming in. And maybe it's, you know, when you're just coming from your smaller account straight away into your bigger one, you haven't felt those market shifts before. And I think that's a huge thing to keep in mind as you're starting in the prop space, that you know, there is just those slightly different cues, those slightly different ways that you need to interact with your trades, because, you know, now you're just dealing with huge capital.
Do we have, obviously we can figure this out, but like, do we have that education channel, like it's economy of scale for an individual going from their self-funded to a funded account to with bigger capital? Who's teaching that? No one.
Yeah, exactly.
The
internet is full of traders who, I mean, they got a strategy and they make some money. But this is what I said before. Trading has nothing to do with trading. Of course, you need a strategy, but it's a mindset thing. They should look for Joe Dispenza online and some guys who know something about the brain, and they should study the brain instead of studying the chart. But we spend hours sitting in front of the computer, but what we really should do is that we should study how the brain is working, how we are thinking.
Look, everybody thinks, like, a lot of people spend 3 years, like I did 2 years, in front of the charts every single day. I was like sure that if I know how to draw the line on the chart, somehow I'm gonna become profitable. But it's the easiest part to draw support and resistance. It's easiest part to learn Fibonacci or whatever. But it's the hardest part to understand that you need a plan, you need a system with an edge in the markets, and a discipline to follow the system no matter what, even if you're losing, even if you're winning, just because. I have a beautiful example, casinos. I've been saying that a lot, right? Casinos have games, like games, blackjack, whatever. They have an edge. If it's 2%, 3%, 4%, 4%, they have an edge. Do casinos lose? Yes, some days they lose. Some weeks they lose. Did you change the game? No. Why? Because they know that this game has an edge. Same way you as a trader need to operate. I have a trading system that I've tested for many times. It has an edge. Now, I don't care about anything else. Just to follow the system. That's it. I enter this trade right there, right here, right now. And that's how I operate. If I have a list like of boxes that I need to check for me to enter the trade, if one box doesn't check, I don't take the trade. Just because it's not my system, it's not my edge. And that's how traders need to operate. Everyone thinks that they will find this secret strategy. I'll give you 100 profitable strategies. 98 people from 100 will still not be successful just because they're not mentally able to execute the system every single time the same way.
Do you think there's a bit of a gap there for that education, purely focused on that?
Crazy gap, because like right now everyone is just like, look at my car, not look at how you need to operate to become successful trading. This is a good way to get somebody come to you to learn from you, but this is not correct way to educate. It's like everyone is selling strategy, but nobody's selling mindset. Read books. Everything changed for me when I started reading books from trading. For example, Trading in the Zone. It's all about mindset, right? It changed everything for me. It changed the way I look at trading completely. And it's like, I even have a group where I see people coming in and out, and they're like, oh, we lost 3 trades. And they're like, they so lost. And I am kind of like on the edge of closing everything and just operating on my own, because it's so hard to communicate to the big masses the real idea when it's such a big shade of wrong vision towards like being a trader, you know?
Which I think probably goes back to the point of your community and them aligning with your understanding and your beliefs, because I think, you know, we were talking to Christian earlier on, and with his strategy, he could lose 8 trades in a row, and still maintain a profitable account. And so I think if you're getting that right risk reward, if you're operating and you're true to your strategy in your mindset, and you just don't, you know, you keep your hands off the trade. That's when, you know, that's when it works. And I think your community, if they believe the same thing you do, you don't need to talk to the masses. You just need to talk to your community and your core people who think the same way. One question that I had I
think it's important to say Christian only ever got to 7 losses in a row. He also made that very clear.
Because our trade number 8, it cannot go in drawdown. It has to be a winner from the start. Then I will survive. But yeah.
I suppose a question that I have then, we, you know, from looking at all the traders that come in and looking at all of the accounts that are being traded, one of the big things that we see in terms of a mindset is the difference between a live account with a person's own funds and a funded account in terms of the mentality. From our perspective, it seems like there's a little bit of a mindset shift in it not being the person's funds. And so, you know, the risk profile changes, the way that person interacts with that account is quite different. I suppose from a trader's perspective, how do you see that difference? And I suppose, you know, is there a way potentially that gap could be tightened?
To be honest, what I think is, like, you cannot teach everything. I cannot tell you don't do this and magically you will stop doing it. There are some things that you actually need to go through trial and error. So if you don't have that feeling, don't see that difference in personal account and funding challenge, you may fail 1 account, you may fail 2 accounts, you may need to go through 3, 4 maybe accounts to actually get used to it. It's like telling a baby, don't go there, you will fall. He will fall until, like, he will understand this until he falls. He will not listen to you, right? So it's a very simple thing. Some things cannot be taught. Some things needs to be experienced, right? Like, maybe I can guide you somehow, tell you that this is okay and this is normal. But I don't think there's gonna be like, there's easy shift for traders from a personal account to a funded account.
You have to feel it, man.
Exactly.
You have to feel it.
Exactly.
The question is that can you continue after 1-2 years? That's the point, and many people can't because they understand how difficult it is. And suddenly they thought trading was about trend lines, support resistance, but it's not. It's a mindset. And I remember when I started until today, I'm absolutely another person. And like I said earlier, when I started, I had a high ego. Today, I don't have an ego. It doesn't exist because I know if I have an ego, I will lose, right? And it cost me so many challenges before I realized. And every time I lost a challenge, my ego just dropped more and more. And after now, some years, I'm like, okay, now.
Doesn't even affect you anymore. And
Exist.
other thing is I notice, and I tell other people, is trading does not change your life changes your trading. So to be disciplined in trading, you need to be more disciplined in your life and not the other way around. You cannot expect to be disciplined in trading without being disciplined in personal, regular life, right?
I love, normally when I go to the gym, right, and I love going to the gym early in the morning, and if I can come to the gym before they open the door to the gym, I will normally record the door is closed, and I will send it to a friend, and I will ask him, where are you?
Yeah.
Just to make fun of him.
Look,
I'm at the gym. Oh, it's still closed here. It's 5 to 6 in the morning, right? But it's such an important part of trading. It is that fix your life around trading and be extremely disciplined in what you do.
Exactly.
Then you will have a higher chance. I'm not saying you will succeed, but you'll have a higher chance to succeed.
Everybody cannot be successful, but everybody can be successful at the same way, you know? It's like you will not find out if you don't try. It's like...
Yeah. And I think another thing to note is that that same person can be successful this week, this month, and then, spend the next 2-3 months unsuccessful.
Yeah.
As you say, something is going on in your life. It changes the way that you're thinking about risk. It changes the way that your composure. And I think that's an important thing to remember as well, and even as you're taking challenges, maybe now is not the right time. Maybe the right time is when you're settled, when you're in that mindset to really go after that and stick to your consistent trading, stick to your strategy, set your stop loss, your take profit, and don't touch it.
And there's another thing. I'm sorry if I cut you off, but it's like another thing is like that's going on right now. It's like trading is a scam. You see a lot of successful people, right? And I even know people that they own brokers. They tell me there are successful traders. Successful trading is an actual thing, It's not just a marketing thing. It's an actual thing. It's actually possible. And that's what other people need to learn. Because why is this a really big thing? Let's say 90% people fail. Let's say the statistic. What happens when they fail? They go around and they tell everyone how it's a scam just because they were not successful. So of course, 90 people will be much louder than the 10 people, right? From the 100.
Of course.
So this is why it's also very important for people to show that statistic that it is possible if you have the right mindset and the system,
Yeah. What I think as well is important is, when we're looking at, our successful traders, the key characteristic that keeps coming up every single time is that person is just taking steady, consistent trades. They're keeping their risk reward in good bounds. They're able to have bad days, and they're keeping on top of their mindset then. So, they're taking their trades, they're making small wins, small, steady, consistent. Over time, that builds up and builds up and builds up, and then they're consistent. They're making money. The ones that we see where you can easily pass a challenge by just taking big swings. You can place massive trades, and you get lucky sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the worst thing. When I see this on YouTube, when people, they're like, I made a lot of money, and they are like, in a short time, and you just understand, this is one of those videos where they just went all in.
Yeah.
And we don't see now the other 5 accounts they just lost last week, but they will publish one video, tell everybody, hey, I made the 20, 30 grand in one trade. So a lot of the new people coming into the market, they will sit and they will think like, hey, okay, I can also make it, right?
Yeah.
And they don't get it, that it is about the mindset. And here, everything is going in the wrong direction.
But I want to say something from a trader influencer, for example, perspective. It is not easy to reach a big audience saying, oh, look, I made $100 for 3,000 days instead of, look, I made $30,000 in one day.
No, I agree.
Like,
I agree.
Yeah, it's like, I wish people were more focused on that consistency rather than get rich quick.
Yeah.
But this is how our society is formed right now. And
Yeah.
it's like, it's not just those people that promote it that way, but it's also the audience, what they're looking for.
Because they want to build the audience, the communities, and the way they can do it is to come out
stepping over the line completely.
Yeah, come out with some
Exactly.
crazy videos, results, and then
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. So there's two sides of that, you know.
Yeah.
And but I think everything with trading and funding firms, everything is going the right way because it has been popular for some time now. Like a lot of people getting on to trading, and starting as audience and as a community, as traders, we start to filter out what's right and what's wrong. And I think everything is going the right way. And I think with some time we will really have strong funding firms. We will have strong people, traders that lead. You know, for example, with big audiences that lead everyone the right direction. So I think this is we're going to the good direction.
Yeah, I think it comes back to your point as well about the experience level and, you know, having to fall before, you know, you stand back up again, you learn your lesson. I think it's the age-old thing with trading where, you know, you have to have your bad days, you have to have your blown accounts to then learn from that and start becoming more steady, consistent. And the people that we see, you know, the people that I talk to as they get funded, they've been doing it 3, 4, 7 years. And now they're at a point where they're steady, they're consistent. Now they've learned from, I guess, burning a couple of accounts that, you know, okay, I can't, it's not sustainable if I keep doing this. Okay, maybe I get a big payday, but then, you know, it's gone 2 weeks later because I kept the crazy risks.
You know what we should do? We should start a boot camp of trading mentality. And it's not like this boot camp where you go online. No, you invite those people, you close them between 4 walls. And it's like, you know, those meditation camps where you don't have any phones, no nothing.
Agree.
But do it in a way where it's kind of shifted towards trading, where you learn this discipline, where you kill your ego. And it's like, people come out with different mentality towards trading. I think that would be a cool thing to do, you know?
So basically we invite them in to trade, but then we just turn off the computers and saying, now we're gonna
we just do everything on paper, you know?
We're gonna fuck up your mind.
I think that would be a cool idea, but like, you know, but you actually change someone instead of like talking to someone over a computer. It's like, and they're like, go back to their normal life and they kind of forget it, where it's like you close them between 4 walls like for 10 days and it's like it's just, you know, just an idea.
Some months ago I did a system with myself to optimize my trading, but it had nothing to do with trading. I wrote down 10 things that affect your life. It is your job, your friends, your relationship, your health. Do you work out? Do you eat healthy? Do you sleep enough? So I came up with 10 words, right? Basically, if you write all those 10 words down and you give them points, 1 is bad, 10 is good, you will come up with a number. And this number defines how good in your performance you will be, right? And you will very fast see that the traders who probably succeed, they will have a high number. I mean, they probably have found out a balance in their life. I'm not saying everybody is going to gym. Fat traders can also make profit. Good time, right?
Clip this. TikTok.
I just love to go to gym, but there's a point.
wait. And he looked at the camera. Fat traders also can make money.
But that's funny, right? Because
that's true. Nowadays, but what's like the more I listen to you, the more similarities I found with you, because I don't just
because
have
we both have burned so many accounts to be where we are.
Exactly. But I also had a mind journal. I didn't just have a trading journal. I had a mind journal. What time I woke up, what did I eat, what was my trading performance, and I rate my trading performance based on what I did, what I thought, how I felt. Did I have for example, at the time I had a girlfriend, did I had a fight with my girlfriend? I followed everything.
Yeah.
And after you do it for like a couple months, you start to notice some similarities mentally. It's like, I didn't wake up early, so my performance was that. You find those averages and you find what's the best for you, how to approach your day to have the good trading performance.
Have you tried then, you have a strategy. It's not going as planned. Maybe I can move my stuff. Oh, the market is going in another direction. You continue being in the trade and you planned that I'm only going to trade the London session. Suddenly, US open. I'm still in the trade. Suddenly, the US market closed, but you say, I'm going to continue staying in this trade because everything went bad. I had it in a period, and I only slept 1 hour every day around for a week, and because I got frustrated, man, it didn't go as planned, right? No, I'm gonna hedge this position. Let me stay up because now the market will open again soon. I can probably save my trade. But what happened? Everything went just more bad, right? And of course, I lost those accounts, and I realized very fast, no. I need to define when I'm doing what, like you said.
It's just constant fighting with yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just like your trading performance is a mirror of your discipline and your just like strength mentally. It's like changed me so much as a man. So this is why I really recommend everyone to start trading, because even if you're not a successful trader, in your journey, you will learn a lot of things. I don't care. Like, honestly, whenever I have a losing trade or a winning trade, it doesn't really affect me anymore. Exactly. It's just part of the process. Yeah. I'm looking at yearly performance. That's what I'm interested in. 6-month performance. Okay, that's what I'm at this. Yeah, here we go. This is one of the biggest mistakes. People focus too much on a daily or a weekly performance, and just because they had one day or bad trade, they will start going down because they focus on that one thing so much.
Oh, we just spoke about that 2 hours earlier.
Yeah.
Look at the bigger picture.
Exactly. Just expand. Because all those articles, I made 200,000 in one day, I made 10,000 in one day. It's like people psychologically approach this job as like, oh, okay, I'm gonna make a lot of money very quickly. And that's not the right thing to do. And you only learn if you do it long enough and you actually try to change something. Because if you learn a mistake but you do not apply it in your further trading, it's not gonna work.
I think one of the things I've been just thinking about this whole time that we've been talking here, we've been obviously talking about the business value of the community, but with the two of you guys talking here today, I can see so much understanding between the two of you about the trading side. And I think that's where the value for the trader being in the community is that shared experience. It's that wisdom that comes from the crowd, and actually, using that wisdom then to help improve your trading. So even if, we don't get to do your great boot camp,
I hope we do.
You can still do your virtual boot camp through the community and actually learning those traits, learning from your peers. I think, how can traders out there, if they're joining a community like this, how can they utilize that community to the best? How can they actually get the most value from that community?
What would make me super happy, or like really, really happy, if one day I open co-funded Discord and I just see a link to a call and I click on that link and there's like 50 traders talking to each other. It would make me so happy. It's like the community is like, hey guys, they organize the call themselves without even us as, organizing it. And you open and see like guys just talking, sharing their knowledge. It will make me so, so happy. It would be like, this is the community I want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
If you want to sign it off.
Yeah, I think we're good. I think we touched like very good points from a business perspective and a trader's perspective.
Yeah.
Good to have a trader because I talk to these guys, they don't understand. No, they know how to run business,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like good mix. It was a very good mix.
I think on that note, I think that's a perfect place to end this conversation. Thanks so much, Dovy.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Christian, Owen. I think we had a really good chat today, and thanks everybody for watching.